Okay, well, thank you, Selection Committee, first of all, for bestowing this wonderful honor onto my family and myself. It's very humbling to be sitting up here with this tremendous class of the 2022 Texas Sports Hall of Fame. And certainly becoming the third father-son duo in the Hall, behind the Rotes and Bum and Wade Phillips. It's really a true honor. And again, Wade, I know they've already shouted you out, but thank you for being here tonight. One of the great coaches, and was on the opposite side of the ball in Houston, but he coached some great defensive players for the Oilers back in my day and for another 50 years. As touched on a little bit by the other recipients tonight, you know, history always will tell us the past, travel, the journeys. Athletics, more times than not, you hear the humble beginnings. You've heard of some tonight. You know, single parents, no parents, poverty, gangs. They fought through a lot to get here, to get to these kind of tables and these kind of events. And some of my best friends in the whole world traveled those paths. But my path was a little bit different. Privileged a little bit, maybe some would say. Back as far as I can remember, I was going to my dad's football practices and games in Cleveland. He was a Cleveland Brown standout receiver. And I'd pop through there about 8 or 9 years old, and I'd give Dad a nod and walk straight over to Jim Brown's locker, sit there and hope I'd get a pat on the back or a sweatband or an acknowledgement. But a hero, of course, of mine for many years and still a friend. But those kind of days in Cleveland, and then immediately Dad went into coaching, coached 3 professional teams, Redskins and Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. Coached Hall of Famers like Warfield and Charlie Taylor and the fastest man alive, Bobby Hayes in Dallas. And, he was teaching those guys during the daytime at work, and he'd come home at night and he'd be teaching the same life lessons, football lessons, all the above to myself and my 2 brothers, Mark and Mitch. I was hearing that when I was 10, 11, 12 years old. So certainly advantage Renfro. He was certainly the main teacher in my life, but as I go fast through my career and telling people hello and thank you so much for all you've done for me, a lot of you here tonight. First, I had a Montague Junior High coach that I think they won about 70 games in a row when I was going through junior high, before and after. Spud Kaysen. On secondly to high school, working for the great Merlin Pretty. That's my high school quarterback right there. He's laughing, but we had some great teams at Arlington Heights, and Texas Hall of Fame inductee from a couple of years ago was our kicker. Kicked about 10 years in the league, and we've already introduced, but Tony Franklin was a great teammate of ours at Arlington Heights. Tony, thank you for being here tonight. My high school quarterback, Matt Herring, is here. Our great lineman, and for many years my personal bodyguard, Mr. Greg Newman's here. Third on to TCU, I went to work 2 miles down the street from my high school. Went to work for Jim Schaffner, newly appointed head coach. Over the course of his career, he only coached Jim Kelly and Brian Sipe and Kenny Stabler and Danny White, probably leaving out a couple. But a great coach. Probably the main reason I went there, he just hired my wide receiver coach who was my Uncle Dean Renfro, who was coming back to coach with us, and he had a 3 or 4 year NFL career himself. His sons, Robbie and Randy, are here tonight. Thank you all, cousins, for being here. Then on to the NFL, the drafting of of myself by Bum Phillips and Coach Wade, and catching balls from Danny Pastorini and Kenny Stabler, and for you younger people, Peyton and Eli's father, Archie Manning, threw a few to me, and at the very end I caught a few from Warren Moon. Of course, catching balls from those guys, I should be standing up here, right? That's a joke, right? Sort of. I mean, pretty good material coming my way with those passes. And he wasn't actually able to make it tonight, Brad, but he was at the earlier events that we've had this afternoon. But beat us in high school, came through Fort Worth and beat us. 4 years playing against him at Texas. My true brother and longtime friend, Mr. Earl Campbell, who I know most of y'all know and certainly all of you know of, was an inspiring person to many of us in this room. And I'm so thankful that I don't get to see each other. We don't have to anymore, as all the guys up here know. If you've been in the locker room, even high school and college, but certainly in the NFL, and bond like you bond to try to win a championship, it's a special relationship that lasts forever. You don't have to say hi every week. Once a year, it seems like yesterday you spoke with them, right? But my brother Earl Campbell is a special person to my family and myself. Anyway, traded in the middle of my career, in the middle of the night, up there to Dallas. My second stint with the Cowboys and working for Tom Landry, the 70 and 71 Super Bowl seasons, the first of Dallas. I was actually a water boy when Daddy was the wide receiver coach, and so I like to tease and say it was my second time around with Coach Landry, and catching balls with Danny White and blocking and playing with Hall of Famers Tony Dorsett and Randy White and all the greatness that everybody's been associated with at this table today. Those were great memories. I fell in love with the horse business at the end of my career in 1988. I'm still chasing the dreams today to win the Kentucky Derby or the Kentucky Oaks. My great friend that runs our company, Corey Johnson, and his son CJ are here tonight, and I appreciate your participation in joining us. So thank you, Corey. Been a friend for 35 years. Sitting with them is the Chances. My buddy Bobby knows where all the bodies are buried, so don't ask him too many more questions tonight. And then to the immediate family, and we'll shut this down, but the matriarch, Sandra, is here tonight. Sandra, I love you. She's probably, there's some long-time coaches in here, but I'm going to tell you she saw her first professional football game in the stadium in 1952, and she hadn't missed much football since. So grandkids, kids, if you know more football than that lady, I'd like to see who you are tonight. And I think that might include you, Wade. I'm not sure, but you didn't see your first one in 52, I know. So, Mom, thank you for being here. You raised some great kids, and I'm proud to see you tonight. 88 years old and still, you've seen all these guys play, right? Forever. My brother Mitch is sitting right beside her. Mitch, I love you. He was a great receiver in his own right. And not to belabor the point, but I had an uncle catch Johnny Unitas' first pass. My dad played 12 years, about 5 years all-pro. Both my brothers played collegiately, all wide receivers now. My first cousin played collegiately. Both of my sons sitting here on the front row played collegiately. And if you want to know how to run a route or catch a football, I don't think you need to go too much further than basically Fort Worth, Texas, and look up a Renfro. There's a bunch of them know how to do it. We've been doing it since, I think, 1948 is when Dad entered North Texas. In spite of my quarterback, I learned how to catch. But in closing, like you've heard tonight, there's a lot of people that are important to our lives, and I'm obviously not going any further than mentioning my love of my life for 37 years. My mom was probably the special woman until I met this one, and she took over number one. But Denise is here. She's raised 3 fantastic kids. I'm so proud of the efforts. I don't even think she could spell football when we got married, but that made it kind of good, really. We didn't have to talk shop at home, right? But anyway, she's raised 3 dynamic kids, all high school and college stars. My daughter Clayton, Clint, Ford, and their partners are here tonight. Happy birthday, Ford. My youngest's birthday's today, so thank you for making the journey. Let me see. Sorry, I wasn't going to do all this, but Carla did it, so I'm doing it too, Carla. I've got a lot of friends out there. I've got another cousin, John Renfro. I just didn't even know he's going to be here. So, I'm apologizing right now. There's great friends here. A lot of coaches that I haven't seen in many years. And, again, growing up in Texas and staying here all my life has been pretty unique. But as mentioned earlier by several of us, and in my close, happiness hasn't been about catching all those touchdown passes or the prestige and all the accolades you get as being a professional athlete. It's really about how I'm seen through the eyes of my friends, my family, my ex-coaches, my ex-teammates, in the hope that I've led my life as a good person with true, honest integrity. Hopefully I'll leave this world a little better than I found it. And with that, move over, Ray. They're going to put my jersey in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame right beside yours. Thank y'all very much.